On today's video, I'm going to show you what I do to maintain temperatures on my Weber Smokey Mountain. The Weber Smokey Mountain is broken up into three major components. We've got the charcoal collector, we've got the barrel, and we've got the lid. This is already filled up with Royal Oak lump charcoal. I know a lot of people use briquettes for this because they feel like you get a more consistent and even cook, but I do like to get a little bit hotter on my Weber Smokey Mountain. This also allows for a much more natural flavor in my opinion. Every size of the Weber Smokey Mountain has the 3 dampers on top. What I like to do is close 2 of them and only open the one that's going to be closest to my working space. What I call my working space is where I'm going to put my fire starters. That's where I want my fire to start, and it's going to slowly but surely build outwards. Once I have my fire starters lit, I'm instantly going to put the barrel right over top. Now, if you look from the top down, you can see the fire starters are started right near that one open vent. Hopefully you guys can see that in the camera. The other 2 back here are completely shut, and that's how I want to set this up. Now, I do not have the stock water pan in my Weber Smokey Mountain. I actually threw it away a while back, but I do think that it is important, or it is a little bit more secure if you do have a water pan. So we have this one here at our house. It's a cake pan that we'll fill up, and we'll put it on the side opposite of the lit coals. The reason I want to put it opposite of the lit coals is because I do like to get the flavor from the fat dripping on those coals. That does create a little bit of steam, a little bit of moisture, and a little bit of flavor coming off of whatever you're cooking. So if I were to put this water pan over this, then I'm actually blocking from being able to get to those hot coals. That's why you always want to make sure to do it opposite. A little bit of water in here is also going to help regulate those temperatures. If you get into a very bad situation, you can move this over really quickly, stop some of those flare-ups, but I don't think you're going to have to. I did also want to let you know that the water pan that comes in this Weber Smokey Mountain was built for temperature control and longer cooks. So if you guys are looking to do something a lot lower and slower, 225 degrees or so, I would definitely hold on to that because I do think that you can utilize it in the end. I do prefer cooking around 275 to 300 degrees, so this method right here helps me maintain those temps for a long time. The next thing I'll do is fill up that water pan that we just talked about. And I'll keep a little bit of water close by just in case I need to refill it. I do like to check, especially if this is a longer cook, and keep adding water as needed throughout the whole cook. Now I'm going to put my top grate on, and then we're going to get our lid on. Now this, in my opinion, is a very important step. You'll notice that my top damper is opposite of the bottom open damper. And the reason is because I want the smoke to come from the hot point here out that top vent, and it's just going to keep circulating. That, in my opinion, helps keep this temperature regulated for long periods of time. Now, if you take a look at my Weber Smokey Mountain thermometer, you'll see that it is broken at this point. It's been broken for a long time, but that doesn't bother me at all. I have a ThermoWorks smoke. This is not sponsored. This is just a product that I've used for a long time, especially to monitor temps at great level, and we're going to apply it to my Weber Smokey Mountain today. Now this will come with an ambient temperature probe, and what this does is tells you the temperature inside of your smoker. You'll notice that it doesn't have a pokey side here, so it's not going to go into any meat. It's just going to monitor at grate level. Another pro tip is if you put it on the bottom side, you technically don't lose any grate space, which allows you to use this whole 22-inch grate for cooking. Now I'll just plug everything in, put my lid back on, and we'll slowly but surely start monitoring the temps in our Weber Smokey Mountain. You can see right now they're around 116 degrees and climbing. We'll let that regulate a little bit, see what our temperatures are at, and then we'll decide what we need to do with those bottom vents. Now I've got a lot of questions about why I like to set my Weber Smokey Mountain up like this, and I think it's because I prefer to come up a little bit lower and slower rather than getting there hot and fast. The thing with this Weber Smokey Mountain is once you dial it in, it will rock at that temperature for a very long time. So I don't like to overshoot it, and I feel like if I gradually get to my temperature, it's going to be a lot safer of a cook. Now when we get around 25 degrees closer to our target temperature, we'll start adjusting those bottom dampers just to lock in that temperature and make sure we don't overshoot. Now about 7 minutes later, you can see we're around 250 degrees, and that's within 25 degrees of my target temperature. So now what I'll do is close this bottom vent around halfway in order to start regulating temps and let this slow down a little bit so we can get that 275 to 300 degrees. And the reason behind that is to start slowing down the oxygen that's going to get into that fire and slow down the fire in general so we can start maintaining temps. We climbed up slowly, we're around 25 degrees to our target temperature, and we don't want it to go too much further. Now, I am okay with around 300 degrees, but you don't want to go to 350 or 400, especially if you're trying to smoke something low and slow. Now, if you guys want to cook around 250 degrees, don't forget around 225 degrees, 220 degrees, you're going to want to close that bottom damper in order to maintain and get to your target temperature really, really nice and slow. Another thing to note with the Weber Smokey Mountain is that this is a smoker. We haven't added any wood yet, but I personally have found that less is more when it comes to my Weber Smokey Mountain. I'll open up my front door and all I'm going to do is put one piece of post oak here. After just a few seconds, you're gonna see some smoke start coming off of that one chunk, and then I'm instantly gonna put my door right back on. After just about 15 seconds, you can see that smoke coming out of the top damper, and one of the things that I never do is control this or move this at all. I always leave it wide open, and I've personally never had any issues with not closing it down, but you'll notice that that smoke is coming out, and I'm actually okay with starting to cook right now. Don't forget how small that chunk of post oak that we put on was. It's not going to smoke like this for too long, and I'm completely okay with a little bit of dirty smoke in the beginning of my cook. It's something that I've started doing on my offset, on my drum, on everything, and I feel like it gives you that flavor and then it'll mellow out. The smoke is only going to penetrate the meat for so long anyway. I want to get a good smoke flavor on everything that I'm cooking. I do not think dirty smoke is a good thing for a long time, but for a short amount of time, 15 to 20 minutes, I do think it's completely fine, and I've never had an issue with any of my food. My smoker is dialed in right at 285 degrees, which is perfect for me. So we're gonna go ahead and throw some smoked meatloaf on. This is not about the recipe today. It's more about maintaining temperatures on your Weber Smokey Mountain. But we're gonna throw some food on and we're gonna continue showing you how we do that. We're just gonna put this right in the middle and let it catch smoke until it's done. It's been another 45 minutes since we last checked the Weber Smokey Mountain. You can see we're right around that 280 degree mark again. As long as you keep your dampers on top and bottom exactly where they are and get that lid on quickly, you're going to get back to those temps. Even if they spike a little bit, don't panic, don't worry about it. It will drop back down as long as you keep the dampers exactly where they are. So one of the things that I also like to talk about when it comes to the Weber Smokey Mountain is getting it a little bit hotter. A lot of people like to cook low and slow, but this will and can cook at hotter and faster temperatures. If you guys want to blow on the coals and open all the vents up a little bit, that'll let some oxygen get in there. But I do have a little tool that I use in order to get my temperatures to hot so I could cook hot and fast. I found this little hand blower on Amazon, and I've noticed whenever I need to get something up to temps, it's a lot easier with something like this. Like I said, you can always open the front door, let a little bit of oxygen in there, but this will get it up to temp really, really fast. So I'll take off my front vent. You can see, like I talked about earlier, the coals started burning here and they're slowly burning outward. But if I turn on my hand blower, and hit the coals for around 30 seconds, you'll see that everything gets really, really nice and red. That's gonna make for a much hotter cook in general. Now, I don't mind doing this at all because I do have a large distance between the coals and this top grate, so I know that my food's not gonna get burnt, especially if I have that water pan in there. That's exactly why I like to use the half pan. So I can have food on this side a little bit closer to those coals, hitting those coals, making them flare up even a little bit more, but that is a little bit of extra added flavor. Close the door. Now you can open the front vent all the way and the others all the way if you guys want to cook hot and fast. And within just a few minutes, you guys can see that we're over 430 degrees. So we took it from that 275 to 300 degrees up to a more grilling temp. Now I do think we could get even hotter than this, and it will continue to get hotter because I'm not going to shut anything down. But this right here is perfect if you want to cook hot and fast. Now, even after 2.5 hours and opening this lid constantly to sauce and check on our meatloaf, you can see that we're still maintaining around 290 degrees. And that's another tip that I have for maintaining temps. If you guys are going to try and check any of the meats that are on this Weber Smokey Mountain, you want to be quick. When you open that lid, oxygen will get down into that fire and it could get everything a little bit out of control and your temperatures could rise higher than you want. So I always recommend try to be really fast when you're checking things, then move on. Overall, the Weber Smokey Mountain is very easy to maintain temps on. Just run it exactly the way that I ran it today, or if you want to go even lower for a long period of time, you can use a briquette, which I do think is recommended, but I've been using lump charcoal for a while now, and I really like the results and the flavor that I've been getting with my barbecue. If you guys have any questions on the Weber Smokey Mountain or want us to do any specific video on the Weber Smokey Mountain, leave it in the comments down below. I love videos like this. I love talking about temperatures, about fire management, especially when it comes to the Weber Smokey Mountain. I've been saying this for years. I think this is the best smoker for the money on the market. As always, we really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.